So this video is going to walk you through how to configure Panopto in your Blackboard course, how to record a Panopto video, and then how to use their in-browser editor to edit your video. So when you get your course in Blackboard, you're going to have this standard setup with a couple modules on the side. For Panopto, you need to go to Tools module in order to start configuring your course. When Tools opens, you're going to see that there are a lot of available tools, but the one that you need is on the right-hand side, and it is called Panopto Content. When you click on Panopto Content, it's going to redirect you to a page that tells you that this course is not provisioned with Panopto. Before a course can be used with Panopto, it must be set up. And the button here says Configure, so we're going to click that. And then we'll direct you to a page that says Configure Panopto Course. It's going to give the server name, which is callutheran.hosted.panopto.com. You can't change this. And it's going to ask you to add a course to Panopto, which you will do. Under this, when you do this, you're going to get the provisioning results, which says the course name, the instructors in the course, teaching assistants, students, and users without access to the Panopto folder, which will be no one. And it will tell you that results are successfully provisioning the course Panopto recording, and you'll click OK. Once you've done this, you're going to get one more page before you can really wrap up. And this is going to be adding course folders. When you create a Panopto course folder for the first time, it's actually going to automatically name it based on the course that you're connecting your Panopto to. So our course name is Panopto Recording, so the folder's name is Panopto Recording. On the side here, you'll see a list of other course folders that are available to you. They'll mostly be yours unless it's a public folder. As I'm a Panopto administrator, I do have a lot more folders to access. But if you did previously add a course, then you'll be able to add that course's content to your current course by clicking the Add or Remove, selecting it, and then clicking Add or Remove. And then hit Submit. Once your course has been configured, you're going to see this page here, which allows you to create a new session, record a new session, upload media, schedule a recording, or create a new folder, search your folder, and once you have videos, it will give you a list of all the videos that you have. At this point, I recommend creating a tool link up at the top here, the top left, using this Add button and clicking Tool Link. You can type in Panopto and select Panopto from the drop-down menu. It's under Panopto Course Tool Application. You can either make it available to your students or not, depending on what you want to do, but if you're going to record multiple videos, doing so will allow you to access the Panopto tool link without having to go into Tools again. And it'll create this module right down here. So at this point, we're going to actually move into creating a Panopto video. So I'm going to go to Create and select Record a New Session from this drop-down. Now, at this point, if you haven't already done so, you'll need to install Panopto. So right here you have Panopto that will allow you to record PowerPoint, video, and audio presentations on your Mac or Windows PC. So it does give you an indication of which download you want to get. So I'm going to select mine. It'll automatically start downloading here. Now, since I am using a computer that is owned by the university, I may have some problems opening this. Initially, at least. It's going to tell me that I'm not allowed to run it. So what you can actually do is use your 7-zip and extract the files to the desktop instead of downloads. And this may take a minute, but once it's done, I'll be able to go to the desktop and access it. So here we can see the Panopto recording folder, and you can open up the setup and install. Once you've done so, Panopto will automatically open and ask you to add your server address. Now, the server address for Cal Lutheran is callutheran.hosted.panopto.com. and you can click Save. Once you've done this, it's going to give you the option to sign in with Blackboard, which is what you're going to want to do, and it's going to redirect you to the MyCLU login, so you can use your Cal Lutheran login information. Now you will want to select Remember here at the bottom, and this is so that if you choose to record offline, you are still able to log in and access your recordings. Now this is the PC version of the Panopto recorder. Over here you can see the webcam footage, which is, me in this room, and you can see, what's going on, what you're able to record here. Underneath the webcam, you'll see a couple options. You'll see video options, so I have my webcam selected. You'll have audio options. I have a couple here. I have my webcam microphone, but also the microphone that the studio has in it, which is what I'm going to use. And then you can actually select your quality. Standard is fine for most recordings. You don't really need to go crazy with it. And then in your secondary sources, you can indicate what you would like to capture. You can have it set to capture your entire screen. You can have it set to capture a second screen if you have one, and you can have it set to capture your PowerPoint. If you are recording with PowerPoint, I highly recommend having this capture PowerPoint. It will have a lot of benefits that we'll go over later. But then you're able to click through and, see what exactly it is that you're recording. So I'm only going to record my PowerPoint, but before I do anything, I want to make sure that I have the correct folder selected. So as I mentioned before, Panopto Recording is what the course is called, but this folder here is called Panopto Walkthrough. So I'm going to click through and actually just type in Panopto Recording so that I don't have to scroll all the way through, and select our folder. Now this means that once I finish recording, this is the folder that my video is going to go to, which is really important because I want to make sure that I can find it, but also that it's in the right course that I'm recording for. And I can also name it ahead of time. And I'll just name it Panopto Recording. So I'm going to open a presentation for PowerPoint from one of my presentations, and it's going to ask me if I want to begin recording after PowerPoint opens. Now this is a pretty good way to do it, in that you can open up PowerPoint and automatically Panopto will start recording. So I'm going to say yes, and we don't need to worry about that, that's something separate. And now Panopto is recording. I'm going to flip through a couple of my slides. This is a flipped classroom presentation that I had a couple weeks ago. And once I've decided I'm done, I'm going to hit Escape and go to Panopto. It's still recording, as you can see, and right now I'm going to tell it to stop. It already knows what I want to name it, and I have the option to delete and record again if I want to, or just upload it. I'm going to go ahead and upload it because this is just a test. And it's going to take me to the Manage Recordings tab. Now in Manage Recordings, you'll be able to see any recording that you've done on this computer. You can see what time you started it, how long it is, which folder it's in, and what you've actually named it. You'll also be able to see the status once it starts processing, and it'll tell you how far along it is in the process. Now, this may take a couple minutes depending on the length of your video and depending on the strength of your Wi-Fi. So it's important to realize that if things aren't processing right away, don't panic. They are still going, but you may need to give it a little bit of time. In the meantime, though, I'm going to go back to my Blackboard page and I'm going to refresh my Panopto module. And once I've done this, it'll tell me that an item has been added to the course menu, and I will be able to see my video here. It has a thumbnail, which is great because it tells me what I'm looking at here. And it also gives me a couple different options. I can edit my settings, I can go to share, I can edit the video, or I can delete it. Now let's go through settings for the time being while this is still processing. In the overview, I'm able to change the name of my video. I can edit the folder. I can change the preview image, and I can access the viewer link if I choose to send that out to people. Now, when I go to share, I'm going to get the sharing link, as I mentioned, if I want to send this out. However, right now, the only people that have access is specific people. Only specific users and groups can view this video. Now, what that means is only the people who are registered in your Blackboard course that this video is configured with are going to be able to access this video. So you may have a problem if, for example, you are teaching multiple sections of the same course. You want them to all have access to the same video. So what you can do is change it to anyone at your organization with a link, anyone at your organization, or anyone with a link. So most people choose to keep it within the organization, but if you did decide you wanted a public-facing video, you can make that available to people outside of Cal Lutheran. I'm going to just make it anyone with at our organization with a link and leave it at that, and save changes. Now, you can also go to Outputs. This will allow you to download your video if you choose to do so. If you're doing a presentation at another university, you don't know what the Wi-Fi is like. If you have a student who doesn't have access to the internet very regularly or may not even have a computer, you're able to download and make this available to them. There are a couple different types. You can do picture-in-picture, which will overlay your webcam footage if you choose to use it with your slides, which mine are not processed yet, so it's just going to give this image here. But I can also select primary video only, which will be my webcam footage, secondary video, which would be my slides, and side-by-side, which will put them right next to each other so you don't lose any information. And then you can download. For the most part, that's all you'll really need in here, unless you decide you want to merge your video into another session, copy it, delete it, or reprocess it in the future, which most people won't need to do, but that is in the Manage Session tab. Now, it looks like my video is done, so I'm actually going to go into the editor now, and I'm going to click Edit. This is going to take me outside of Blackboard, but it's still within Panopto. When I do that, it's going to immediately take me to the editing portion of the Panopto site. And you can see what the students see, which is my webcam footage up here and my slides over here. Now, before we actually start editing, I want to go over some of the features of this that are kind of handy. You do get a table of contents that is based on your slides that are available, so your students are able to jump ahead. That's where that PowerPoint plugin becomes very helpful. Now, when we want to edit, we can do a couple of different things in here. You can edit the table of contents, which is great. You can change the length of time, you can change the name of it, but most people are more interested in editing portions of their video itself. So if I want to cut out portions of my video, I'm going to select these scissors right above the timeline, and these green tabs are going to appear. If I click on those tabs and drag them, it's going to gray out a portion of my video. Any portion of my video that's grayed out is going to be effectively deleted or invisible to students that are watching the video. Now, it won't permanently disappear, so if at some time you want to make it available, you are able to go back and make it available to them. The other thing in here that's really handy, and I think is really important, is the captions option. Captions are incredibly important in videos that are online, and as a Hispanic Serving Institute, as an institute that hosts a lot of international students, and just as an institution that very much values all types of students with a variety of disabilities, captions can be very important for those students. So Panopto has a great feature where you're able to import automatic captions, and it will create captions for you to edit yourself. It's not going to be 100% accurate, but it is a start, and if you do have, a student worker or a department assistant that you can give this to, then it's a nice, easy task to give them. The other thing is you're able to edit the slides. You can change the length of your slide. If, for instance, you clicked ahead a little too early and you want to change it, you can. But you can also add a quiz, Now this can be great for testing students' retention. You don't necessarily need to assign a point value unless you want to, but you can also use it as an opportunity to make sure that your students are paying attention. So the great thing is that you just need to click on the timeline where you would like the quiz to be. So once wherever that red line shows up on the timeline, you're able to add a quiz. And there are a couple different options for quizzes. You can do true, false, multiple choice, or multiple select. You can just easily type in your question and put in the available answers. And then select the correct one. You can also add an explanation if you'd like, and then when you're done, you just click done. And you can set up different settings as well. They can retake the quiz, you can show them their grade, or you can prevent them from moving ahead in the video until they've answered your question. When you're done editing your video, you're going to hit publish, and it's going to ask you if you want to leave the editor. You can say OK, and it's going to send you back so you can either watch it, or if you've made some major edits, it'll tell you when it's done processing. And once you're done with all of that, you can go back to Blackboard and you can refresh your page. If you've made some major edits, it might tell you that it's processing. Mine now says that it's got closed captions, which is wonderful. And you can decide how you want to make these videos available to your students. You may want to just give them this Panopto link, you may want to make it available to them, or if you only want to make certain videos available to them at a time, you can go into a content area and create a Panopto video link. In order to do that, you'll go to the Tools option up here and click Panopto video link. You'll select the folder that you want it to come from. If you have multiple folders configured in one course, then you'll get all of those folder options available. And then under lecture, it'll give you the drop down of all of the lectures that are available in that folder. You can title it, you can give a description. I usually recommend putting the length of time that the video is so your students can appropriately budget their time for watching your videos, and click submit. Once you've done that, it will tell you your item's been created. You can click OK, and you will get a web link in your content area. And that's pretty much the basics of setting up in Panopto, and I hope that this was helpful to you. If you need any assistance, please feel free to contact the CTL or put in a help desk ticket with the university. Thanks so much.